Hi everyone and welcome back to RTCarC. Today we are going to do some maintenance run on the Saito FG33R3. This is important because the plane has been standing on the shelf now for about 5 months. So it is important that we do start it up from time to time. The motor is brand new. I only had about 2 or 3 flights with the plane. We did the braking procedure, of course, which is very important on these engines. And these engines also, the manufacturer and the people that own them, they're saying that flying it with full throttle will break them. So it's important that you ease off the throttle, but that's for us to talk about on the airfield, I think. Today I'm going to rip off the cowling and the propeller, and I'm going to fill the crank house with oil. I'm using Husqvarna. This is oil that they use in chainsaw. This one is highly recommended here in Norway. And we're going to fill up the, I'm not sure what it's called, but the crank house where the rod is in. We are going to fill it up until it starts leaking under the motor, and then we're going to blind that tube again so that nothing comes out there, and we're going to reassemble the cowling and propeller and then start it up. And also we are going to talk a little bit about what I have inserted in the plane when I bought it. I bought this second hand. It was a bit roughed, if you can say that. We needed to heat shrink the aileron and the flaps because they were way off on the angle. So with a little help from good friends, I managed to get them straight again. So no problems there. And of course, we are also going to put this one together so that it can fit in my trailer when I'm starting to work on that as well. So this one doesn't have too much wiring, it's just flaps, ailerons on the wings, and other than that it's ready to go. So not necessarily reason why it should be standing fully mounted here in my hobby shop, but then again it's so beautiful. So another question for you guys out there. Hopefully you all watch this video in the whole length. It will be a bit longer video, I'm sorry about that, but I have a problem. Let me show you. So this is an APC propeller. I'm not sure if the camera will focus on it. Of course not. It's quite heavy. It's a nylon fiber propeller, and it has a good weight on it. It is a 17x6 propeller, and it stated that it would be the best choice for this motor. Or an 18x6, of course. The problem I have is with this propeller, the APC one, I get about 8,009 to 9,000 RPMs at the top. When I change it to this one, which is an 18x8, I think. This is wood. It's so light, it's no resistance at all. When I put this one on this engine, I can only get up to about 7,500 or 7,600 RPMs. I'm not the brightest guy, so if some of you could enlighten me about why do I get less RPMs on a propeller that is so light. My direct thought is that this propeller is heavy and it gives the engine a bit more resistance. That's why it's also working harder and getting up to those high RPMs. By the way, the 9000 RPM is what stated in the manual. About 8008 to 9002, I think it was. But anyway, I'm still going to use the APC propeller, but I really wanted a little bit bigger with a bit more pitch because it is a bit lazy with this engine, and I was hoping that I could make it it doesn't have to be a plane that I can hover with, but anyway, I wanted to have a bit more speed, so I was hoping that a lighter, a bit bigger propeller would give me this. But then again, help me out here, guys. I know that many of you are super great with this. So I'm going to, of course, put back the APC when we are ready oiling, after we have oiled the engine. So what I'm going to do now is remove this tube which I have blinded, and here you have an oil nipple, and under here you have another breathing nipple for the motor. What we will do is to put a box under there where we can only put paper. I think it's okay also, like this. We can remove this tube. The overflow of the oil will come out here, and that is also an indication that we are full. You also need to turn the prop shaft around while you are filling up with oil, so let's do that. I have this little syringe here with a rubber tube on it. We'll just put it in the oil. What we can do, we can put the prop on. We'll make it a little bit easier. Spinning that. Like that. So. There you have it. The whole syringe is in, and we can keep on one more just to make sure that everything is okay. Don't be afraid to put too much in it because it will eventually come out in this breather. Yep. Here you have it. Now it's starting to drip. Now we know that we have filled the whole chamber and you have good lubricant in the engine, and we are actually ready to start now. So I'm looking forward to that. So the final thing to do before I put the cowling on, I just remembered, and it's quite important, is to check every screw on the engine so that you don't lose the top during flight. That will damage the motor all the way. All these screws were tight for me, but it's a good rule to go over them from time to time, especially if you have a lot of flight one day. Let the engine cool down and go through all the screws, make sure that nothing is loose. That is also a great way to keep your engine alive for a long time. So we are now done with the engine maintenance and everything is good to go. We need to run the engine for 1 tank of fuel. That will be more than enough. If you want to run it longer, it's no problem. Just make sure that you get enough cooling. That isn't a problem here because it's snowing and it's cold outside, so sitting the model outside or at the opening of the garage will give it a lot of cooling. As I was saying during the Twin Otter video, all these new receivers from Spectrum, they require that you go into the forward programming mode and setting up your failsafe. This is super important that you do. It's also mentioned in the manual, but from time to time we just buy the receivers, put them in a plane and fly. So we had a runaway with the ASV28. We had it here on the bench, was just going to mount the lights and so on. And we were going to test the failsafe if it was okay, so I turned off the radio and the plane went AWOL. So very crucial thing to think about. Set your failsafe and test it without the propellers on your plane to make sure that everything works as it is. You don't want a runaway plane. That could be quite expensive for both you and others. The servos that I'm using in this plane is high-tech the 645 MW digital super torque servos. These are listed to can be used with high voltage power, so I'm using a 2-cell battery straight into the receiver, and I like this setup the best of all, so I have this almost on every big plane that I have. And also the ignition has a 2-cell setup, so that I'm using the Gens Ace 3500 milliamp 2-cell battery. This is more than enough for the ignition, but I always make sure that I have spare batteries, so when I'm on the airfield I have more of this smaller one. The ignition doesn't use too much power, so one battery pack can last for about 10-15 flights, I guess. I never flown that much. So everything is checked now. I have hooked up the battery, the main power for the servos, and as you can see, we have more than enough throw on this bad boy. So I'm just going to take it out to the garage, bring the camera with me of course, and have a startup so you guys can hear some good 4-stroke 3-cylinder sound. I know you love it. So she still runs a bit rich, but I believe I want to have it like this for now. As you can see, here's the oil. So it's a bit colored, and that's not a bad thing. They do state that you should be in 3,500 RPMs when you're sort of breaking in the engine. So I'm in between 3,500 and 4,000 when I'm just having it running here in the garage. And I let it go on the lowest idle as well from time to time, just to cool down the engine. But for now I think it's okay. I'm looking forward to fly it again. So that's a wrap for today. I'm very happy. It almost started right away. I forgot to take out the paper that I have in the exhaust. When I removed that, it started. A rookie mistake. Other than that, she runs well. If you have any suggestions, please just state them in the comments. This video will of course also be set as a premiere, so you have the possibility to talk to me and ask questions as the video is running for the first time. I noticed that it's hunting a little bit on 3,500 and 4,000 RPM. I guess that is usual. I didn't fill it up with brand new fuel. I had almost a full fuel tank, so I run with that and it seems like it runs great. As you could see, a lot of oil is coming out of the plane. A lot of this oil, of course, is also the stuff that's in the crank, of course, mixed with oil from the exhaust. During spring and summer, I will tune it a little bit in, making it a little bit leaner. But the advices that I got is to run it as rich as possible for as long as possible. That will keep the engine alive for a much longer time. So, but I'm really excited that everything works great and it started no problem at all. I checked the cylinders after the run, and all the cylinders, of course I don't have any measurement tool, so I just touched the cylinders and it seems like they are at the same temperature, so that is good. But for me now, I just need to clean it and I will put the wings on it and has it as a display model here in the hobby shop, and until we are going to fly it, of course. And the next project that we are going to put our hands on is this. This beauty of an engine. This is the SC91. This is a two-stroke engine. It's brand spanking new, but it's over 15 years old. Never been started. I had it opened and checked everything. Everything is okay. I have put some lubricant in it, oil, and just checked that everything is okay. And this will be our project, and hopefully I will be able to start it tomorrow. And we will go through it, and of course in good Arctic RC style. So until next time, see you guys. Thank you for watching our videos. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe if you like our content. Press that like button and help us fight YouTube algorithm. Until next time, you guys, have a great Sunday. Have a great Monday for that sake, and we'll see you guys later, and girls. Bye.